Early recovery can have some ups and downs, but I have a special guest for you today who's going to share with us something amazing going on coming up in less than 1 week. Yes?
Yeah, it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4.5 days.
4.5 days.
Look
Awesome.
it up.
So let's talk about what is going on. We already know it's been an awesome month with the Georgia Recovers bus tour. Recovery Month has been off the chain for the state of Georgia. I mean, it's so exciting and awesome to be able to see all of our people. It's like I get to see all of my friends 10 times in 1 month and then don't see them
Right?
again for
We
however many
recovered. We did
months.
it. We we achieved sobriety. No, it's off the chain. Like all the events. I just got back from Athens Recovery Fest. That was so cool. That was my first year there, and then got to go to the inclusive party, accept acceptance. Excuse
Mhm.
me. That was very wild and cool, and just yeah. This whole month has been banging. That was our second time in Athens this month. We were there with Modern Pathways doing a big event in the park with them, and so yeah, we're trying to top it off big. This is our third annual Stand Up for Recovery Comedy Fest. Not quite a festival, but more than just a regular show. We have grown a lot in the past 16 shows, and we're going to be at a really special theater, I guess you could say. It's where Saturday Night Live holds their auditions for the Southeast. It's called Dad's Garage. It's kind of a staple or a pillar of Atlanta at this point. Some of the best comedy happens there, and we're just really honored to be included in that. And I'm going to be working with the executive director of Dad's Garage to do a free, basically, pay what you want comedy course. And
To
that's going to
teach
be from
people
4 to 5.
how
Yeah.
to
Yeah, well, we're gonna like look at the intersection of humor and recovery, honesty, humility, resilience, forgiveness. You know, so we're gonna look at that. We're gonna learn the basic nuts and bolts on how to structure a joke. And we'll start with like a headline that you might see on late night TV, and you'll be able to put yourself in there in the punchline. And there's no right or wrong answers. It's have some improv games to kind of get the creative juices flowing. Then we're gonna take a basic structure and then put ourselves basically find out what's your headline, and we'll be able to explore that. And they'll be, definitely recovery oriented as much as possible. Just kind of checking in, seeing how humor's helped you get through a tough time. And when we say recovery, we certainly include mental health challenges as well, which
Mhm.
substance use disorder is now considered a part of. I think I've said it before, but we made it. We're part of the DSM-5, baby.
Yes, yes. And we include all forms of recovery and we support multiple pathways, whatever that
Yes,
looks like
all
to
pathways.
you. Yes, all pathways of recovery. Your recovery doesn't look like my recovery, and my recovery doesn't look like your recovery because we all have a unique fingerprint and we all recover differently. So
Yes, yes. And
sorry, go ahead.
just to put a point on the itinerary, if you will, the free comedy, pay what you can, I should say, because you have to register in advance, and you could literally just drop $1 in. You can register the same place you get tickets, which is dadsgarage.com. So there's that comedy workshop that's going to pretty much lead right into a policy panel that is tied in with the Georgia Recovers bus tour. And this stop is all about humor and recovery, or humor in recovery, as I prefer to say. But so that's, it's going to be a community discussion. You can ask questions and share comments, and really just to kind of explore the role humor plays in people's lives in recovery. And like you said, the various pathways, and it looks different for different people, and that's it's a beautiful thing. So we would love to have you be part of that conversation, and that part is free. That ends about 6:15. People are going to get a picture in front of the bus, sign the bus. After that, before the doors open at 6:30, show kicks off at 7. Tickets are half price in advance now. So anybody watching, we'd love for you to be able to save some money there and get your tickets half price, and you can register for the comedy workshop too if you want. So tickets are just with tax and fees $12 in advance, or they're I think 22 with tax and fees at the door. So get you some half price tickets. There'll be free t-shirts while supplies last. This event is unique in that it's 16 and up. So that's great for younger people in recovery. I know it's a struggle sometimes for adults, even, for just adults to find stuff to do that doesn't revolve around a bar. If you add, the age barrier to the equation, it can be even more challenging to have fun in recovery. Or, obviously there's millions of things you can do to have fun in recovery, but when you think traditionally going out on the weekends, da 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 da. So we're here to say not only is recovery real, but it can be real fun. Sorry, take two.
Yes.
It's hard to put it in a hashtag because the ... just
Right.
anyway. But yeah, so we're all about recovery is real fun. You can take recovery serious without taking yourself too serious, which I think is important. We're dealing with life and death here, but it's not a death sentence to your having fun. In fact, I've had a lot more fun sober than I ever did when I was partying or self-medicating into the wee hours of the night. So we would, hopefully there's a hope piece by just seeing the comics who all have lived experience on stage. We're helping reduce stigma by the comics who choose to recover out loud, and show the public that recovery is possible. So
Yes.
free
I think
parking. Sorry.
you were telling some jokes at
Yeah.
the other event in Athens, and they were super funny.
Oh.
I think I forget what you said. There was like 5 of them. I remember the one about cutting not going to Six Flags because you can't cut lines or something.
It's funny when I hear it. I don't get to hear my jokes, so you remember anymore? Yeah,
uh, I would have to
you've
really
probably heard
think.
them a couple times now.
I have heard them a couple times,
Are
but
they getting better?
they're
Or
good.
I try to
Yes,
breathe new
you are
life into
getting
them.
better.
Recovery is possible. Progress, not
Yes.
perfection. Now, yeah, I've been trying to look at it through a different lens. That was a bit that I started early on, and my recovery goes hand in hand with my stand-up comedy journey, because I was afraid to share at meetings. I was very paranoid. I was facing felony drug charges, and I thought anything I would say could come up in court, and everyone's telling me you got to share, or you're gonna go out and use or die, and da 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 da, and I had this epiphany. I was like, oh crap, I need to do stand up. Like, I need an alibi. And I
It was
thought,
just
like,
a joke.
earnestly, exactly. Yeah, if it came up in court, Your Honor, I was just kidding. But it worked. It helped me get to share some, to practice some honesty, which is so important for me, and others I've talked to. So it gave me that little bit of a buffer, safety net to be able to do that, which led to me being able to tell my story. But I don't want to discredit comedy in itself. It can be very, it allows you to sort of candy coat the medicine and say some real stuff, without it being too much of a downer. But I literally candy coat the medicine. And when I do my Narcan, my naloxone training as part of the show, so everybody part of the show gets trained on how to reverse an overdose. We teamed up with Georgia Overdose Prevention, and so yeah, we've been able to train over 1,000 audience members and staff members, and we have an initiative to get naloxone, the overdose reversal medication, into comedy venues around Georgia. And so if anybody wants us to come to your town, we'd love to, anywhere around Georgia or anywhere else around the country. We started to do some stuff in Florida, which is cool. We're not really bound on any state level at this point. I don't think we would ever be bound per se, but yeah. So the joke started as a top 10 list of signs you might be an addict. I was a big fan of David Letterman's top 10 lists, and I kind of like the cadence of a sort of like a um, an impression of Jeff Foxworthy and Letterman. I used to say, like, with my apologies to Jeff Foxworthy and David Letterman, here are the top 10 signs you might be an addict. And it's just kind of a fun bit that you can just add to periodically. But then I was thinking, there's some kind of a pamphlet, I guess. I don't know if it's still around, but it's like, if someone's like Googling, am I an alcoholic? And there's like, here's 21 questions to,
Mm-hmm.
and so I wanted to kind of reframe it to make it a little bit more inclusive to people who, you know, to everybody. So yeah, I always try to slide a couple new jokes in each time, because you got to, break in the new stuff and couch it
Absolutely.
with the old stuff. But that was a fun crowd at the Athens Recovery Fest, and shout out to Yosis, throwing me up there. She said it was she kind of dogged my peer support skills a little bit. I was like, she was my supervisor. She was like, yeah, he wasn't that good, but it's because he's a
I
comedian. I was
know.
like, that was lame. I'm a good peer
Uh,
support. I just want to say that on record.
I saw that. I didn't know if that was part of the act
It was
or
part of our shtick. We worked that out. No, I
right.
was I would get into trouble a little bit there, because I'm trying to bring what's worked for me, so stand up, improv, storytelling, and stuff like that, and it was cool. But also, like, at the end of the day, I'm also developing stuff brand new, so there's going to be, you know, it's going to be a little clunky at times. Now we've I've developed this workshop that I'm really proud of. I'm hoping to maybe even be able to bring it into like the juvenile justice system, sober livings and stuff. I started doing some stuff, in Athens, and in talks with a treatment center there and a treatment center in Atlanta to see what that would look like. But I'd love to be able to bring a like weekly workshop into treatment centers and help people, develop a ultimately on the surface, develop like a 5-minute set, and then get to do like a graduation show of sorts with other professional comedians in recovery, when they're on their way out of treatment. And then we have our recovery oriented open mics that people could kind of come to and stay connected. So I know I need that, at least, for me, as much as I feel like other people would hopefully benefit from that. So yeah.
I
Sorry.
know I love it. I mean, I love going to your, events and your open mics. Um and I feel like the treatment centers and like RCOs should have you, for like a, you know what I mean? Like a
Say it
once a
again.
quarter party thing or something.
Yeah.
It's just so fun. It's so refreshing. It's relaxed. Like for me, like sometimes when I go to recovery events, I feel like there's like a expectation. Like this is just me like speaking like vulnerably. There's like an expectation that I'm supposed to like be something or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And like sometimes I just want to like sit and just relax and not have to, you know what I mean? Like people, right? So like I love going to, that's why I always try to come to the open mics because they're so fun to me. Like, and the group is so fun, that perform
Yeah.
and stuff. And
Big
I just
shout out real quick to Athens Recovery Warriors, who
yes.
started that and were gracious enough to see if I might be a good fit with the crew, and LFG. Let's
Mm-hmm.
freaking go. I just figured that
Yes.
out.
I know.
Cassie is a trip.
Yes. She's
But yeah, the whole
amazing.
crew. I love Athens recovery community, and so I'm just excited to be able to come back with some frequency and stuff there. But yeah, I understand. Like, um, yeah, like definitely again, like we deal with some heavy stuff, and I think like you look at people in the field who work in recovery have a higher rate of recidivism because it can really burn you out. We're all vulnerable, sentient beings, I think is correct
Mhm.
terminology. But like, and it's hard when you're helping other people out too. It starts to like blur the lines between what my recovery is versus helping someone
Right.
in theirs. Not that they can't support each other in some ways, but so I think our shows are as much for people in early recovery, for example, as they are for people who work in the field with time and stuff like, you and I, that
Mhm.
really need to, extra bit of self-care.
Yes.
So um we hope that you know that all the peer supports out there, clinicians too, can come and enjoy what we're doing. Are the people, loved ones, and family members of people who struggle with substance use and other mental health stuff. Like, it's for everybody. Our allies. I would almost, if it didn't have as good a ring to it, if it had a better ring to it, I mean, you could almost call it like stand up for wellness. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because everybody has their struggles, their demons, their challenges, and so I hope that in doing this we can help uplift each other more, and just remind ourselves that we're not alone, and that there's hope just by seeing me on stage after some of the dumb stuff I've done to be able to stand and smile and you know I would encourage everybody, if there's a takeaway, is find your bliss, find what makes you happy. Everything else I think falls in line from there. But and for me, recovery made that possible, makes that
Mhm.
possible. It's a daily thing. But be careful what you wish for, careful what you pray for, because you might very well wind up getting it, and then you still gotta do the work.
Right,
So
right. Richie, are you on YouTube?
I am at I think I've got two. I'm not sure. I know one of them is One Man Van. I thought that was clever. Uh like the number
Uh
one man van. Like one man band, but one man van. And the other one I need to double check, is that's like more of my personal one, I guess you could say.
uh-huh.
There is a stand up for recovery one, but I feel like I had to add a word because it was something was like
I'm
possibly taken.
I'm trying to like make a joke kind of, but I was kind of being serious. So I talked to Jeff and John, and I told them we should create like a Georgia Girls Gone Wild for Recovery bus tour. And I said we'll be stomping out stigma and flashing our voters card.
I love it. I love it.
I got no response. Cricket.
Let me know how I can support you in that.
I'm like, this is why I don't go on stage. I thought it was a great idea.
Hey, there's no bad ideas. Um, yeah. So I don't know how I switch accounts here per se, but yeah, One Man Van is my personal one, and then the other one is, it'll let me switch channels here. Yeah, so annoying. It's at Stand Up, the number 4 Recovery Comedy.
Let's
So it
see.
just has comedy at the end of what would just be
Uh
Stand Up,
stand up.
the number 4,
Uh-huh.
and then Recovery, and then Comedy.
Comedy. Bam. Okay.
I love the architecture in your house.
Oh, thank you.
It's
Thank
striking.
you. I
Feel like
custom made it, actually.
nice.
Yes.
I feel like we just went in for an extreme close up I wasn't ready for. But yeah, I'm so appreciative of all the support and love you've shown Stand Up for Recovery, and it's not like something completely new done for the first time, but it's still somewhat unconventional. Shout out to the predecessors who've done this before, and I think it's probably from like the beginning of comedy. It's been a way of turning pain into laughter, but I do
Yes.
like that it is becoming evidence based. I'm learning about other places who are doing things that are in a similar vein, and shout out to Rise Recovery Inc. I know they do that with other art forms. I got to work there for a while. Um, but yeah, it was like 2013 maybe. I came across a guy named oh god, Mike. I got to use like initials. He's passed now, but Mike D, comedian, and he died clean, but he was able to sort of balance, having respect for a pathway that helped him tremendously, but also be able to sort of make light of recovery too, in a way. So that,
Mhm.
I think he really embodied that, taking recovery serious without taking yourself too seriously. So that was, yeah, it just kind of, I think I went to a convention and saw that there was like a comedy show and then there's comedians, that's kind of been a thing for a while.
Yeah.
But I really, I exist as a stand-up comic first and foremost, if not exclusively, for the recovery community. I've worked really hard at open mics and bars doing jokes that people don't quite get. Uh, you know,
But we
to
get them,
entertain
Reggie.
you
We
guys, yeah.
get them.
Although I did a joke recently, so I got some material about van life, and it just kind of slipped out. This because I have to kind of juggle the materials references a lot of times, not to go over people's heads. But I was like, yeah, be sure to check out my TED talk, how to get off out of van and in a van. And people laughed. I was like, are you just laughing because the rhythm of that, or you? They're like, no, we get it. Like so, there's you think about how many people are in recovery and how many people are, their friends, and have some
Mhm.
experience. Some people might not identify as in recovery, but you know they understand the vernacular. But
Yes, yes. And awesome that you educate people on naloxone. And so just let's just put it out there because I think it's such an important message that when you do find someone who has overdosed and is unresponsive, you do what? Check if
yeah,
they're
so first, like, yeah, they suggest saying like, hey, are you okay? They used to do the sternal rubs. I think maybe those
Mhm.
can be, I mean, it can really bruise people badly. But I like to spice things up and just be like 12 or
Mhm.
Narcan even will jolt people out of it. But if they're not responsive, you want to lay them down flat, almost like as if you're going to give them CPR. And yeah, so like like CPR position, the mouth is open. It's not the time for pranks, so no Haktua. Uh,
Right. Right.
you give them a blast of Narcan in one nostril first and foremost, and then call 911 because depending on where you are, you may be on hold for 15 minutes.
Mhm.
You can let people know like left nostril. So to help you keep track of it, can start your phone for 2 minutes. You can, a lot of times, I think they found people, when you're in the moment, time seems to go faster. So I think on average, most people give the second dose, a minute to a minute and a half after the first dose. So if you time it, 2 minutes is optimum. One dose might be enough to revive them. If not, give them another dose in the other nostril after 2 minutes. When 911 answers, you want to say the person is unresponsive, not that they've overdosed, or else they will likely send police versus paramedics. So, as we say, don't put the narc in Narcan.
Right.
And they will possibly coach you into giving compressions if it's a loved one, or family member and you feel safe doing it. Rescue breathing has been showing to be more and more effective. Some overdoses have actually been reversed through rescue breathing alone.
Mhm.
That's interesting. Uh, if there is, people, I may have to wrap up here in a second,
Okay.
but yeah, and then you want to encourage them to go to the paramedics, to go to the hospital. You can't force anybody to, but they could re-overdose 30 minutes to 90 minutes after. So try to hang out with them for like 6 hours. You've just saved their life, and now you'll probably have to hear their life story, but it'll be worth it.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And please always carry Narcan or naloxone on you, even if you do not use drugs and you think you're never going to be around anyone who is using. You never know whose life you could save.
Absolutely. And it doesn't expire. Like it has like a 28-year shelf life, something like that. Lasts a long time. Keep it in your glove box. It's very resistant to heat. Um, so don't ever throw it away. And yeah, if you come to our event on September 29th, we'll have plenty there to give away. Nasal, intermuscular. We even have test strips, which you can help distribute to community. And they now have test strips for
Xylazine.
xylazine.
Yes.
So yeah, and if there's sort of some misinformation or could be misleading information about if if something has xylazine in it, that Narcan or naloxone rather won't work. But the way things are coming out in testing, it's there's a good chance that there is fentanyl in whatever it is they did, which will be effective. So they might see more out of it as they come to.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's overdose is preventable. Overdose death is
Yes,
preventable. So, well, thank you for all
absolutely.
the work you do for the community, and always being a good hang and bringing a smile with you to the room. And I know you have
Yes.
a nice cruise you're going on, but you'll be there in spirit, and we look
Yes.
forward to talking to you again soon in person.
Absolutely, for sure. All right. Well, we're going to end this. You guys make sure you subscribe to Stand Up for Recovery and check out One Man
Got it.
Van on YouTube and check out the website. It's definitely an event that you do not want to miss. And Richie's going to drop the flyer in the comments when we get off here. So
Yeah, and
thank
if
you
you can't make
guys.
it, but you know some friends in the Atlanta area, go ahead and share it. If you want to go
Yep.
to our Instagram or what have you at Stand Up the Number 4 Recovery, you could share it. That definitely helps it get seen by more faces. And we have T-shirts for sale too. We're going with a green and purple color scheme this month, which embodying the mental health awareness month as well as recovery month colors. So that'll be a
Yes.
kind of nice heather gray. So I'll save you one.
Thank you. I appreciate that.